What's good? Welcome back to the Pop Off Podcast, a monologue show about the Houston Rockets, Oklahoma City Thunder, and the NBA on NBC. My name is Ralph Compiano, and I just wanted to do this really quickly following opening night of the NBA on NBC. And I want to talk about NBC specifically because I have a tremendous amount of mixed feelings in my heart and my mind right now. And it's a blend of love and hate. One, I absolutely loved the presentation, the broadcast, and the entertainment of this game last night. It was one of the more entertaining pieces of basketball broadcasting that we've seen in a long time. And I think that's because it was fueled by one emotion, and that was love. And the anger and frustration that is coming from me is that I'm 27 years old, and I've never had the NBA on NBC in my life before, since I've been, a cognizant human being. This is something that is a foreign concept. I've only known the NBA on ESPN and TNT and ABC through ESPN. And that's challenging and frustrating because this is a completely different product than the one that I've been used to my entire life. So I feel like I've been missing out on this. Like, I already love basketball. I am in love with it. I am recording this after coaching a practice from 6 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. And it's, something I think about the entire day. How much more would I love the game if we had this kind of presentation the entire time? Like, it is disturbingly different given the first take era that we live in where ESPN just throws Stephen A. Smith at problems and they're like, he'll get us ratings. We don't care about the conversation and dialogue around it. And really what stuck out to me most about this NBC broadcast is how much it reminded me of Sunday Night Football. Sunday Night Football with Collinsworth, Tirico, Al Michaels historically is a celebration of the game. It has enormous ratings every single weekend, regardless of if it's the Dolphins and Jets playing. People are tuned into Sunday Night Football because, one, it's kind of like a religious experience where, you go to church on Sunday morning and you end your day with Sunday Night Football. There's a regiment and a schedule to this. So I like the effort that the NBA is putting towards building out a schedule. We know that every single Tuesday night, we're going to have these NBA games on NBC, which is comforting. And I'm really excited about that. But I can't help but be upset about just the specifically last 6 to 7 years. 6, 7. Oh my God, I'm so mad I just said that. The last 7 to 8 years that TNT, the Inside the NBA studio with Charles, Kenny, Ernie, not so much, and Shaq, just the conversation around the game has become poisonous. And it's really frustrating because this is a game that I love. And sure, the NBA has a lot of faults inside of it. You can talk about load management, maybe a lack of effort here and there. But at the same time, it's like these guys got to play 82 games a year. They're the best athletes in the world. They're the best basketball players in the world. And if you watch the Rockets and Thunder last night, you're not questioning load management. You're not questioning effort. And it feels like a lot of the times, the guys that are talking about the game aren't actually watching the game. I don't know if Shaq and Chuck watch games. I like listening to them and watching them because they're entertaining, but I like them more as a podcast than I do as basketball analysis. Last night, I thought that Mike Tirico is just such a refreshing voice to hear again. And then you have Jamal Crawford and Reggie Miller. And I've always had some kind of animosity towards Reggie Miller. I don't like the way that he calls games. It feels like he's talking out of his ass a lot. But I thought Jamal Crawford was great. And it's nice to have somebody alongside Reggie that can kind of deplete the amount of Reggie in my life. And I thought Tirico was fabulous. This is a guy that, I think he's my favorite NFL announcer. It's either him or Nance. It's close, but he's going to be battling with Breen for my favorite NBA announcer after last night, if he can keep this kind of stuff up. So a couple of other notes just on the broadcast itself. One, we have the Round Ball Rock theme. Awesome. Really cool to see that. I've only been able to experience that secondhand nostalgia and, TikToks and things like that before. But they showed the starting lineups. This, I was like, oh, yes, give me the starting lineups every single time because you get to hear the crowd's reaction to the players. Durant returning to Oklahoma City, 10 years later after the decision to leave for Golden State, there's still animosity towards him. And you also get to hear the quote-unquote 6'10" Kevin Durant, a guard from Texas, coming out. I love hearing that kind of stuff. But you can also hear just how excited they get about Chet Lou Dort. The Lou from the crowd is great. And then their MVP SGA as well. So I hope this isn't something they did just because they had the ring ceremony at the beginning. I hope that they do this for every game on Tuesday nights because that kind of stuff's important. We don't need more ads leading up to the tip. Let's build the kind of tension. Let's familiarize ourselves with who's playing, who's not. You know, when they jump ball, we shouldn't be surprised that Jalen Williams is out because we found that out 5 minutes earlier. So I really, really like that aspect to it too. It just felt like an event. It felt big. And when you announce the starting lineups, that contributes to that feeling of, yeah, this is something that is memorable and important. Like the last 5 years, I get excited for opening night because I'm excited basketball's back. But it doesn't feel like everybody else in my life or NBA Twitter is as excited about it because, you know, it's the Lakers and Warriors again. It's kind of not tired matchups, but matchups that we've seen time and time again. We've seen it on ESPN, we've seen it on TNT. It's almost too familiar. And this felt different, but that different was a good different. All right, I just dropped my phone. I've been recording this in my car. Sorry about that. Okay, we're good. No, I'm really excited about this though. Okay, now for the actual game itself, very quickly. The Rockets and Thunder, the Thunder ended up winning in double overtime. My one takeaway from this game is that we were seeing in real time natural selection unfold before our eyes. The natural selection was who is going to bring the ball up the court. The Rockets don't have Van Vliet, obviously, so they don't have a traditional point guard to bring the ball up. And it happened on several occasions last night where the Thunder make a basket and the Rockets are allowed to take it out from underneath the basket and pass it in, and there's nobody in the backcourt to field it. That's a problem. All right. We are professional basketball players. We need to have an understanding of who's going to bring in the ball up the floor. So I don't think Durant ever brought the ball up the floor after a made basket. I think it was either Amen Thompson, Alperen Şengün, or Jabari Smith Jr. Amen's the closest thing that they have to a primary ball handler. Şengün and Jabari are not either of those things. But because you have Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace, Lou Dort, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander applying pressure full court, essentially, maybe 3/4 of the court for most of the game, you can see them kind of being like, I'm not sure I want to bring this up. I don't want to be the guy to turn it over before half court and give up a wide open fast break dunk. So you could see this unfolding, and it was interesting that Şengün was probably the one that brought it up the most. I'd be curious to see who actually brought the ball across half court the most frequently for the Rockets, because I would bet it's either Şengün or Amen. But Jabari brought it up a lot. And this is just a great magnifying glass on the Rockets' problems. This is a great first team for them to play against because the Thunder are the best ball pressure team in the league. They're the best defensive team in the league, point blank, period. But as far as just agitating and nagging and getting under your skin as a ball handler, they're better at it than anybody I've ever seen. Now, that's partially because the refs allow them to get away with a lot of physicality. It feels like there is certainly a moving of the goalposts for guys like Dort and Caruso and Cason because of their reputation as pesky defenders. So they're allowed to poke and hold and these kinds of things a little bit more than other teams. Not a little bit more, a lot more than other teams. But still, I mean, Houston's going to have to sort this out come playoff time. So they have 82 games or 81 games left to do that. So they're either going to have to get a real point guard or Şengün, Jabari, and Amen are going to have to become better ball handlers. Now, they're not going to play the Thunder every night. So they probably won't be being pressed every single night. But then again, if I'm, let's say the coach of the Wizards, and I see the success that the Thunder had in that kind of mode, that defensive pressure, 3/4 court, then I'm doing that every single time that I play the Rockets. I'm taking advantage of the fact that they don't have a point guard. Do I have the same athletes and the same defenders that the Thunder do? Absolutely not. But it's at least a way to slow down their offense and make sure that they took a lot of shots last night with less than 5 seconds remaining on the shot clock. And some of them were ugly. Some of them were, I press the Kevin Durant button and he's going to get a good look off because he can get a good look off against anybody. But a lot of them were pretty ugly. Reed Shepherd, he was miserable last night. I might have jinxed him because I did a social media video literally yesterday how excited I was about Reed. Let's keep in mind that he might have played in 35 games last year at the most, and a lot of those games were not meaningful. He was coming out in blowouts, kind of garbage time. Maybe if Fred was hurt, Jalen was hurt, he got some opportunity, he got some tick. He baptized in by fire last night. Your first real game with real stakes on a nationally televised broadcast on NBC, the return of NBC, and you're just getting Cason Wallace in your grill the entire night, that's going to be tough. All right. So let's not overreact to one game of Reed Shepherd. Sure, it didn't look good. I think he gets a lot better. I think he'll be much better in April than he is on October 22nd. I'm tired of whiners. That's my last point that I want to close on here. And I hate to end on a negative point. Alperen Şengün, Isaiah Hartenstein, it is just preposterous how often we are whining about calls. If I'm a referee, I am teeing them up instantly the second that, just so I can set the tone, because I'm not listening to them every single time. Every single time there's a no call, a call, they are looking at the ref, they're showing their hands, and it's egregious and it's annoying. I think we see it a lot with the Europeans. As a LeBron fan, I'm frustrated with how often he does it, but this dialogue between players and referees, the referees aren't perfect. They're going to miss a lot of calls. I thought they were awful last night, but still, like, let's do something about the whining. Can Adam Silver please just do something about this? Because it's gotten to a point where everybody in the league thinks they're Chris Paul or LeBron, and I can't do it anymore. It's so frustrating. It's so annoying. You actually saw Ime Udoka tell Amen Thompson last night, quit crying, because Amen got away with it. He didn't say that to Şengün once, obviously, because Şengün would not stop. He was like a temper tantrum, practically. Now, he turned that energy into, 33 points, 5 threes. He was hooping, but that kind of output and effectiveness in the box score, in my mind, it's diluted by just how annoying he was. All right, well, that's all I have. I'm so excited for the NBA to be back. I just wanted to get this out there because I thought the broadcast was so special. I cannot wait for every single NBC broadcast, and it'll be really interesting to see how ESPN responds to this, because they have the Cavs and Knicks tonight and the Spurs and Mavericks. And despite both of those matchups probably being just as good, maybe even better than the Rockets and Thunder, I don't think it's going to feel as special. I know it's not going to feel as special because it's on ESPN, so I know what to expect. But Rockets Thunder, maybe the game of the year, the first game of the year. How lucky are we as basketball fans to have had that? I didn't watch the Warriors-Lakers because I had to go to sleep. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. And we'll be talking hoops all season long. Make sure to tap in. Peace out.